Hi, I'm Kyle. Today we're going to be installing a trailer hitch on a Hyundai Sonata, which can take you to some really cool places like camping, biking, and even towing a U-Haul trailer anywhere in North America. Let's break down that moderate install. You'll need the tools seen here to complete this installation. So to get things started, the first thing we need to do is lower the exhaust. We'll want to use a ratchet strap. We're going to come underneath and support it under one of the cross members. But we've got two hangers, one here and one right behind the muffler right here. All right, and we're gonna spray these with a little bit of soapy water to make them come out a little easier. And we'll use our exhaust pliers. If you don't have exhaust pliers, a pry tool will work as well. All right, the next step in this process is the removal of the heat shield. We've got 4 bolts. We've got one here, 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 and then all the way in the back right here. To remove the heat shield, we're going to use a 10mm ratchet. And now we're going to remove our heat shield by pulling down and out. We are going to set it aside for reinstallation later after the hitch. All right, the instructions for this hitch call for the removal of an underbody panel, which is not present on this particular vehicle. So if present, the 6 fasteners would be here, 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 top of the frame rail, and on the side of the fender. All right, now with our exhaust and heat shield removed, we've exposed our attachment holes in the frame. We've got 2 holes on each side, 2 on the passenger, 2 on the driver. All right, so starting on our passenger side, we found our attachment holes and they've got a little bit of foam tape covering them. So I'm just gonna use my fingernail to start pulling that away and expose the actual hole underneath. So on the driver's side, we've got the same thing. We've got 2 holes covered with foam tape. We're just gonna slowly remove that with our fingernail as well. All right, the next step in our process involves in putting the bolts into the frame. We're gonna use a fish wire technique to do that. And some vehicles you will need to enlarge the hole. And as you'll see, this bolt is a little larger than the hole is provided. The instructions call for the enlargement of this hole here. We are gonna be inserting a carriage bolt and also a spacer block into that hole, and you can see neither one of them fit. All right, there are many techniques for hole enlargement. Today we're gonna be using an air die grinder with our carbide bit and an air line. Always make sure you're wearing your safety glasses. Now with our hole enlarged, we can see that our carriage bolt, spacer block fit inside the hole. We're gonna repeat this process on the other side, and then we can use our fish wire technique to drop the bolts into place. All right, we're gonna start with our standard fish wire technique. We're gonna put this up and through the frame, push it through, and we'll feel for it to come out here on the other side. All right, on this side, we're gonna start with our spacer block, push that through, and then our bolt second. All right, now we're gonna do our reverse fish wire technique. We're gonna start with our fish wire, install our spacer block, our carriage bolt, and then we're gonna insert these into the frame, pulling them back through just like we did our front one. All right, we're gonna remove our fish wires. This hardware kit only came with 2 fish wires. So we're gonna remove them to reuse them on the passenger side, and we're gonna leave them installed on the passenger side because it'll be more difficult to install. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and repeat this process on the passenger side. All right, for our install today, we're gonna be using our U-Haul exclusive hitch jack. If you don't have one of these, you will need an extra set of hands as this hitch is pretty heavy. All right, with our muffler on this side, it was a little easier to leave the fish wires in. So with our rearmost bolt, we're gonna take the wire coming down from it and go through the back bolt on the hitch. All right, and our wire from the frontmost bolt, we're gonna install in the frontmost hole on the hitch. And we do this so that we don't lose the hardware in the frame. All right, we're gonna go ahead and lift our hitch into position, being careful not to push our bolts on the driver's side into the frame. Now that we have our driver's side holes lined up, we're gonna install some 19mm flange nuts to support the hitch on the driver's side and repeat the process on the passenger side. We're gonna hand tighten these nuts into place to support our hitch while we do the passenger side. All right, we can go ahead and remove our fish wires here. And install our flange nut. All right, now that we have all 4 flange nuts in place on the passenger and driver side, we're gonna go ahead and torque it down to manufacturer specifications. Please review the link in the description below for exact numbers. We are gonna use our torque wrench, 5-inch extension, and a 19mm socket to tighten them up. Now that we've got our 4 bolts torqued and tight, we're gonna try to reinstall our heat shield. The instructions call out that we might need to make some slight modifications to our attachment points on the heat shield. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. We're gonna start with our foremost hole, install it, and then see where other bolt holes line up. We found that our 3rd bolt on the outmost hole needs to be enlarged ever so slightly. We're gonna use our die grinder to enlarge that hole. We also found that the rearmost hole, because of the hitch, does not need to be reinserted. The manufacturer of the hitch says that that's okay. We're just gonna make sure it's nice and tight once we get the 3 bolts on. All right, now that we've got this hole modified slightly, we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our flange nut, and we're gonna start tightening these down with our 10mm wrench. All right, now that we have our heat shield reinstalled, we're ready to reinstall our exhaust. And remove our strap. With our hitch installed, we've pulled our vehicle onto level ground to show you some important measurements for some of our hitch accessories. This is an 1.25" hitch receiver. From the pinhole to the end of the bumper is 4 inches. From the ground to the top of the receiver is 11 7/8 inches. This will help you determine the length, rise, or drop for your hitch accessories, such as a bike rack or cargo carrier. If you have any questions about the product seen in this video, or if you'd like to schedule an installation with a U-Haul Hitch Professional, visit us online today at uhaulhitches.com.